Hello, Year 5 and 6. I hope that you're all well and that you enjoyed writing your adventure stories. So this is our last writing unit of the summer term. So we're going to be having a look at some biographical writing. Okay, so I'll show you the timetable for the next few weeks. It's very similar routine to what you've done with your narrative writing, so it should be really familiar with you, and we'll have a look at today's lesson. Okay, so we are going to be looking at biographies. So my videos will all be blue, so you know you're looking for the blue videos, and we're on day 1. So having a look at the plan. So the aim of this unit is for you to write a biography of your life. Okay, so you're going to write it as a biography rather than writing an autobiography, and we'll discuss the difference between those. And it doesn't need to be factual. I'd really like you to use your imagination for this. So we're going to write biographies as if we have been world famous explorers, because I know you've been doing some really nice work on explorers in your theme lessons. So you're going to pretend you're a world famous explorer and you're going to write a biography about all your achievements, places that you found, and anything else you want using your imagination. Okay, so it'll be about 15 days, and this might change a little bit over the next couple of weeks because I know we've got some other exciting things planned as well. So it might change a little bit, but it's round about what is on the screen. So it's all that familiarising ourselves with the model text that we'll look at today, then looking at the vocabulary, boxing it up, making sure we've understood it, answering the questions on day 5, some creative writing using your story writing skills that you've just used, looking at the grammar, having a look at some more examples, and then planning and writing your own biography. So that should be a really familiar routine with you now. Okay, so first of all, I want you to think, what do you know about biography writing? Have you read any biographies of people before? Have you written a biography before? So what I'd like you to do, if you pause the video and just write down things that you know about the structure of biographies and what language features you think might appear in this non-fiction text. Okay, non-fiction meaning factual, this factual text. So what do you think is going to come up? Pause the video and then we'll have a look together. Okay, so they are written by an author who's done their research on an individual's life and knows a great deal about the person. However, we're going to get around that with our writing because we're going to be using our imaginations and making some stuff up. It's written in the 3rd person, so it's written about someone else, and that's the difference between a biography and an autobiography. Auto meaning self. So an autobiography, you would be writing about when I did this. 3rd person biography, you are writing about when they did these things. So we're going to have a look at a biography today. They're written in chronological order, so from the start of that person's life to the end, and they include lots of facts about the person, such as when and where they were born, information about their childhood, information about things they've done as an adult, information about their career, as well as information about their personal life. Okay, so hopefully that's refreshed your memory. Yes, that's what a biography is. Maybe you've read some yourself. Okay, so the structure. So you'd start off with a title which makes it clear who the biography is about. You're then going to have an introduction and that's going to introduce the person to the reader and give key details about why this person is famous. So you want that introduction that has that information about who they are and summarises why they are well known. You've then got your paragraphs written in chronological order, and these paragraphs might vary in their content. Not every biography is going to have the same content in each paragraph because they're all about different people. But they might include their early life, growing up, their career, their family life, and their later life. But like I said, they might include other things as well. And then there's some other features that they might include. So you could use fact boxes, you might have bullet points, which are really good for getting key information across really quickly, and pictures and captions. So that's the structure. So our language features, I've already said lots of facts. So really we want all those language features that help us to give lots of facts. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got those adverbial phrases, multi-clause sentences for putting all those pieces of information together, and then extra information added using dashes and semicolons. So we can use those dashes and semicolons to expand and give a bit of extra information. And parentheses, so that's our dashes, commas and brackets used to add extra information. Often in the middle of a sentence, you'll have those punctuation types to give a bit of further information. And expanded noun phrases to give specific detail. So have a think about your list. Did you get some of those language features? Had you thought about the structure, having an introduction and then different information in separate paragraphs? If not, don't worry. Hopefully you're getting a bit of a better idea about biographies, and by the end of today's lesson you should have a really good idea because we'll have read one together. Which takes us on to, we are going to read a biography about an explorer called Earnest Shackleton. Okay, and you may have heard of him before, but I'm guessing lots of you won't have heard of Earnest Shackleton. So what I'd like you to do now is stop this video and you're going to watch the video, which the link is here, and I'll put the link down below as well in the video description, and it's in your resources. So watch that video. It's about 10 minutes long and it gives you loads and loads of information about Earnest Shackleton and his life, what he's known for. And I think that'll help you a little bit understanding why he's so important and understanding the biography that we're going to read together. If you want to read the biography first and then watch the video, that's absolutely fine, but I'd really like you to watch that video. Okay, now I'm going to go on and we're going to read that biography together. So I'll read it to you, but then I'd like you to make sure that you read it to yourself as well. So don't just read it once, read it a few times to make sure you've absorbed the information and that you've understood it. Okay, let's have a look. Earnest Shackleton, a biography. That's our title, makes it really clear who it's about. And underneath that, you can see a couple of sentences. That's our introduction. We're going to find out why he's famous. And then you can see we've got a subheading and a paragraph all about his early life. We've then got a paragraph about his career, his expeditions, and then his trans-Antarctic expedition. So his expedition to the Antarctic. Okay, and you can see some pictures with captions. So you should be able to see lots of those features that we've just had a look at. Earnest Shackleton, a biography. Earnest Shackleton was a famous explorer who with relentless drive was one of the first men to successfully explore and return from Antarctica. He is remembered for his ambitious efforts and drive and was best known as a dynamic leader and an intelligent master mariner. Early life. Born on 15th February 1874 in County Kildare in Ireland, Earnest Shackleton was the second of 10 children. In his early life, Shackleton moved to Dublin and then London. Always restless, he left school at 16 to go to sea. School did not motivate Shackleton. However, he was a prolific and diligent reader, which has been credited to giving him a great sense of adventure. Shackleton had a keen interest in unexplored parts of the world from an early age. And there you've got a portrait of Ernest Shackleton. Early career. 16-year-old Shackleton joined the Merchant Navy, which was a profession that both he and his father had always had a shared interest in. Unsurprisingly, ambitious Shackleton achieved the rank of first mate by the age of 18 and became a certified master mariner 6 years later. This qualification meant Shackleton could command a British ship anywhere in the world. Early expeditions. His first journey to the polar region was in 1901. He was recruited by the third officer for Robert Falcon Scott. With Scott and one other, Shackleton trekked towards the South Pole in extremely difficult conditions, getting closer to the pole than anyone had come before. Sadly, this adventure was cut short as Shackleton fell ill, and it was essential he was sent home on medical grounds. It was a valuable experience for Shackleton, and one which further fed his curiosity in Antarctica. During his second expedition in 1907 to 1909, Shackleton and 3 companions set a new record for being the first explorers furthest south, at the latitude of 88 degrees south. This was just 97 geographical miles from the South Pole. It was the biggest advance to the South Pole in history. To mark this magnificent achievement, Shackleton was knighted by King Edward VII. Devoted to creating a legacy, he led the Transantarctic expedition starting on 8th of August 1914. Inspired by the challenge, Shackleton raised money through sponsors and selected a competent crew after a very successful recruitment process. 69 dogs were also chosen and trained for the expedition. He bought the ship Endurance for a fraction of the cost and adapted it ready for the expedition. The ship set sail from Plymouth to Buenos Aires. It then spent a month making final preparations before heading for Antarctica. In December 1914, the team departed Georgia Island, the last time Shackleton and his men would touch land for an astonishing 497 days. In January 1915, the Endurance became trapped in ice, ultimately forcing Shackleton and his men to vacate the ship and set up camp on the floating ice. After the ship sank later that year, Shackleton embarked on a heroic escape in April 1916, in which he and his men crowded into 3 small boats and made their way to Elephant Island, which is off the southern tip of Cape Horn. And there you've got 2 pictures. Top one is Shackleton and his expedition team, and you can see they're on lots of snow and ice, and they've got their ship behind them. And if you look closely, you can see how wrapped up they are with hats and coats and all that wear for going to the Antarctic. And there you've got a photo, quite an incredible picture actually, braving the brutal conditions. So braving those awful conditions, you've got men pulling this boat, I'm guessing one of the smaller ships, that wouldn't have been the main ship they were on, pulling that across the ice. Let's see what happened to them. On August 25th, August 1916, Shackleton returned to Elephant Island to rescue the remaining crew members. Astonishingly, not a single member of his 28-man team died during the nearly 2 years they were stranded. In late 1921, he set off on a fourth mission to the South Pole. His goal was to circumnavigate the Antarctic. However, on 5th of January 1922, Shackleton suffered a heart attack on his ship and tragically died, aged 47. Posthumously, that means after his death, posthumously, Shackleton was diagnosed as having a hole in the heart. Some of his shipmates had been concerned when he had repeated attacks of breathlessness and weakness on several of his expeditions. Dying a hero, Ernest Shackleton is recognised and remembered as one of the most significant and pivotal figures in the heroic age of Antarctic expedition. Okay, so loads of information about Ernest Shackleton there. Lots of facts and some really tricky vocabulary in this text, which Miss Parry will be looking at with you over the next couple of days. Okay, so make sure you read that through to yourself again, and please make sure you watch the video, which should give you more of an idea about his expeditions, that amazing experience of getting trapped in the ice and managing to get all of his team out alive despite them being there for 2 years, and about his achievements in his life. Okay, I will post my next videos on Thursday and Friday, so bye till then.